What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Damien Dupee, your number one off-market land specialist, hyper focused on the infield lots. Today, we're going to be talking about a success story, a JV deal that was done in Charlotte, North Carolina, one of the hottest markets in the nation. My man Parker looked out for the cookout, bought me an off-market deal. It had a couple moving parts with it. We'll get into it, the moving parts. But let me make a couple announcements. If you are local to the Charlotte market and you want to attend a meetup, holla at your boy. I host a meetup every month. The link is in the description. January 28th, 7 to 9 p.m. I would love to meet and greet you. If you're looking for a course, a paid course or a free course, I got you covered. I got a lot of goodies in the description. Free course, ebooks, cheat sheets, you name it. But without further ado, we're going to jump right in. This is going to be an epic wow. Epic wow interview where I interview Parker. And Parker, welcome to the We Are Land Specialists YouTube show. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you? So first, let me say your intro. He only did it once. I wasn't sure whether or not he was going to have to stop and go back and do it again, but he knocked out of the park the first time. I was curious about that.
No worries, man. Thank you for coming on, man. I do not take it lightly or for granted that you would spend your precious time with me, educating people, teaching people what you're doing, what's working, what's not working, maybe some trials and tribulations you're going through. And we're just going to shoot straight from the hip. So I do have a question for you, man. Tell me a little bit about your background, like what you do for work, whether you're full-time real estate, part-time. Tell me a little bit about that if you don't mind.
So yeah, I'm I guess technically I am part-time at this moment. And the reason being is because I've spent the last 10 years in broadcast sports, doing instant replay for really all kinds of sports. And also I'm an actor. So I've worked in the entertainment industry basically for the last 10 years or so and done it full time. And it's been great for me. And then once COVID hit, like, as you can imagine, everything stopped like it did for a lot of people. I mean, there's no arenas, no footballs being played, no basketball, no anything. So I'm literally sitting at home with my wife and my 6-month-old at the time son, collecting an unemployment check and kind of just what we call stay in the film industry, standing by, like just literally standing by for however long this is going to go on, whatever's going to happen. Nobody knows. I mean, it's new for everybody. So I had never thought about real estate. I'd never thought about any of it. I actually, at the beginning of the pandemic, the lockdown, all that, I had dabbled in like day trading just because I'd fallen upon it. And I saw YouTube videos, of course, of people who had found success in it. And I was like, oh, this doesn't seem too bad. Lost about $1,000, got sick of it. And I was like, I can't do it, man. I don't like losing a big L. So the whole stimmy was pretty much gone right there. Right. Yeah. It's not a good thing. So I was like, okay, well, what else can I do? So then I actually ended up getting a shoot for my son, and I booked a commercial, and it's shot at West Knight. You know, West Knight, he's a local house investor. He does I think it's Keep Going is his company.
Okay.
He hasn't been doing it for too long, but he's really in it, man. He's doing great. You guys check him out if you can. But I randomly, it was a shooting at his house, and I ended up seeing him and meeting him and following him on Instagram. And he mentioned something about on his Instagram looking for somebody to drive for dollars. So I was like, dude, I'm not doing anything else. Like, I might as well see what the heck driving for dollars is. So I ended up talking with him some, did a little driving with him. And then I'm not super shy about reaching out to people who are above me in the food chain, because I feel like that's something you have to do, right? Especially if you got nothing to lose, you need to look to people who have been there before, who have the insight, the knowledge, the experience that you need to achieve what you're trying to do. So the first person I reached out to after I was with Wes was Nasser. So I reached out to him because I saw him on Instagram, And I actually drove for him for a couple months, like almost every day, like listening to podcasts, books, looking at bad houses. I'd find lots every once in a while. I didn't really know what to do with them, but just adding properties for him and doing that for a few months, just being able to like visually identify something that's in distress. So that was great. And then that actually helped. At one point, I actually sold him a lot. So that was, if nothing else, a super great learning experience. And he ended up being one of my buyers at one point too. So he's great. And then from him and a couple other people, I kept hearing this name because I'd kind of gotten fallen into land, because the only people who would ever call me back, they were like, yeah, I got this lot. I don't know. My grandma had it. She died. Then my dad had it. And it's in this person's name. And it was just a complete mess. And every time I started to, start to get into this stuff, some issue would happen. I ended up working with land. And then I kept hearing this name, Damien, the guys over at CLT Buyers, I think, had mentioned Damien. And then I heard somebody else say Damien, and I'm like, Damien. All right. So I went to YouTube and I typed in Damien, Charlotte, land, or something like that. And then bam, there he is. We are indeed land specialists. So
Wow.
I sat and watched and watched and watched and watched. And then one day I just picked up the phone, man, and called you and was like, yo, I got a couple of lots under contract. I don't know what's going on. I can't get these stupid things to the finish line. And then, you and I have had a couple different adventures. And then finally, just in the last, 2 weeks or so, closed out our first official, like in the bank, the money's in the bank deal. So it's killer, man. It was a long time coming. And I probably, for all the stuff that I put you through, I probably owe you my portion of it too, man. So I appreciate you. Thank you. The whole family appreciates you. Thank you, bro.
No worries.
Sorry, that was probably like way too long.
It's all good, man. I definitely appreciate you breaking that down for me and how you got in the game. Tell me, like, how are you finding land deals? Like, what are you doing specifically?
So, as I mentioned before, I've got so much going on, right? So not only at the point that I was starting to work more so on real estate, I also was kind of like dabbling in sports cars, trying to flip those, or like sneakers, or anything to just get a couple of bucks, because I can't sit around and rely on somebody else. That's just not my nature. And of course, I'm not going to go get a job, man. Come on. Are you crazy? A 9-to-5? I've had one my whole life. Didn't go well. So I've just got this hustle in me, and I just kind of slowly started to figure it out. But I've got so many other things going on. I didn't have the time to sit on the phone and call. I wish I did. I didn't have the money to hire a VA. So when I was driving for the other guys, I found Deal Machine. So one thing Deal Machine does is they have mail that you can send out, like pieces of mail that you can send out. So when I add properties to my Driving for Dollars, my Deal Machine app, I can also add lists. I send out postcards. And the cool thing about the postcards is I've got another extension on there where it adds automatically the Google Street View of the home, which freaks some people out. But other people are like, oh, hey, you got a picture of my lot. That's cool. So whether it's a house or a lot or whatever, normally there's a picture there. So I'll go through, either get a list, Drive for Dollars, whatever, send it out. Depending on the area, I get a pretty good response rate. Of course, everybody knows too, you get responses sometimes where it's like, hey, anything's for sale. What are you offering? And you're like, I can already tell you, it's by the tone of your voice, sir, nowhere near what you need. So I send out mail, man, exclusively at this point. I hope to very, very soon incorporate some other things also.
For sure.
Maybe do some houses, whatever. But Man, I'm not afraid to call you and ask a question because I lean on the people who have done it longer than I have. So
For sure.
yeah, we need to have a chat about it at some point, how I can, kind of incorporate a couple more things than just mail. But, for what I do and the time I have to do it, it's not too bad.
So let me get this straight. You basically use a deal machine app with a Google plugin. You ride around and you basically mark the lot, and then off goes the postcard with a picture of their lot, and people call you back.
It's magic.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's
how much a month is the deal machine app?
I have the basic plan, so it's 50 maybe, but the add-on is another 20, and then each postcard is 55 cents, I believe.
Okay.
So I think I did some rough numbers. I can't remember exactly, but I think I spent about $6,000 to $7,000 last year on it.
Wow.
Again, I'm not sending out the kind of volume that a lot of people are,
Yeah.
but for what I do send out, I get the return back. Like, I don't know, the gross, I'm probably 5 or 6 times that, So it's, again, the amount of effort in that phase is great. My effort and my struggles come towards the end, getting that bad boy to the finish line.
Yes, sir.
Because it's all roses and puppies and rainbows up until, somebody goes, "What's this? What's a quiet title?" You're like, "Come on, man. We close in like 3 days. Quiet title. What do you mean an estate? What do you mean there's a power line?" So yeah, like the postcards and all that are great, really, for somebody who doesn't have a lot of time. When I first started, people were like, "What? You don't call? You don't call?" I'm like, "No, man. I got a 2-year-old at home that's knocking on my door constantly. I got, at the drop of a hat, I could have to get up and go do a Detroit Pistons game or something. So I can't like sit on the phone and do all this stuff. So eventually, I would love to be somewhat strictly real estate, to where I can do everything else just whenever I want to. Like if I want to go do a Detroit Pistons game or something, I can. But we're working our way there. So sorry, dude, I'm like talking way too much.
Yeah, no worries. Recently, you did a soccer game in Charlotte, and I was going to come to, and he was doing a soccer. He was like, "Hey, dude, I'm here. I'm behind the scoreboard." I'm like, "What? What?" This dude is freaking at the soccer game, bro. You be getting it in, man. Let's talk about this deal we just did in Charlotte. One of the hottest markets, bro. One of the toughest places to find opportunities. One of the places with the biggest spreads I've ever experienced in my life. Tell me about this deal we did. It was on Grove.
Mm-hmm.
How did you find that deal? How did that work? Like the seller called you, like, how did you find it? How did you set it up? Like, why did you partner with me? Like, why did you partner with me? Why? Like, break that down.
So basically what I do is, if it's super easy, which nothing is, but if it is super easy, I normally just, all right, seller, oh, cool, you're easy. I got a great price. Excuse me, buyer, you do? Okay, great. Well, let's go ahead and execute that. That's happened a couple times, not a lot. So if that doesn't happen, what I'll do is I'll call you because there's some sort of issue. Yeah, right. There's some sort of issue with this one. She had, I believe it was an estate that had to be finished up like at the moment. So she was looking to sell, and she wanted to work with us because she knew that there was this like weird thing that she wasn't aware of. And she had also something that I'm not used to, is she had a real estate agent who wasn't, I think, officially listing it, but ended up working in the transaction also. So I wanted to make sure that I had somebody who was familiar with both the estate and then the real estate agent as well. So, so you're the guy, like you've talked about on your videos, FlippingLand that's on the MLS that has this, that has that. So I'm like, all right, well, that's the place to go. Not to mention your buyers list is, what? How many do you have on the buyers list now? Can you say? Is that a lot? It's a lot, right?
It's a lot, man.
Looking good.
I got
it's
a
looking
lot.
Good. Yeah, I'm on your buyers list just for fun, so I can look at it and go, what? Another one?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, but yeah, I did the postcards for her. She called me, talked me through the situation. I think I called you pretty quick afterwards because the situation she had told me, and we floated a couple numbers, and then you went, oh, we could sell that for this. And then, it kind of went away for a little bit while they handled the estate. And then when it came back quick. And you had the idea to split the lots. You just mentioned it. And then I talked to you like 10 minutes later and you're like, yeah, split the lots. I was like, what? What do you mean you split the lots? In like 2 minutes. You just I guess you went out there with like your tape measure and some, I don't know what you did, man.
So basically what I did is I got a contact at the city with planning and zoning. And basically I noticed on the GIS, the back of these lots, these were originally platted 2 lots, but it was combined back as 1 lot. And I confirmed that there was a house on there and it was water and sewer taps. So I was excited. I was like, oh man, we can subdivide it back to the original lot. So basically I emailed this lady and I said, hey, can you convert these back to their original use? And it took her about 30 minutes, an hour. And then when you look on the GIS, it ended up being 2 lots. So that's the beautiful thing about knowing your market. Beautiful thing about being an expert is you can do things and things that a lot of people, they just don't know. So that was an advantage you had working with me, was that I knew I could split the lots. 2, I knew I verified water, and I knew that I had multiple buyers for this lot, like multiple. It was like I just had to pick one. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you. So, we did pretty good on that, man. What did we do? Like 7,500, 7,600 each?
Something like that, yeah, each, yeah.
Yeah,
so, not a bad day's work,
Yeah, so I mean, and we didn't do much work, man. I mean, I might have been in that deal maybe 30 minutes, shot an email here and there. We looked over a contract, we signed it, and we just wait for it to close. And we got it done, man. And definitely, I think that's the power of joint venture. I think is to be able to not only add value to each other, but to be able to earn while you learn. Learn while you earn. So, I can definitely pass that contact with you in case you run into that situation in Charlotte. That young lady, I think her name is Brenda Linker. Remind me to shoot you her email. And there's a couple other contacts in Charlotte. They can do some amazing stuff pretty quick. And I know it because it's my market. This is what I do. Yeah. I eat, sleep. I know this market. I've done enough deals here to know what's the deal, what's not a deal. Even, and our lot was a little challenging because the road had stopped like a little bit before it, and the paved road didn't run all the way to it. But I was like, I don't think that's going to be an issue because I confirmed access to water and sewer on the whole entire lot. So whether the road was there or not, whether it was grass, I never went to go see it. Did you go see it?
Mm-mm.
Right. So I never went to go see it, but I couldn't confirm whether that was just grass there, was it gravel, but I do know they confirm we can get access. And that's what builders care about, ladies and gentlemen. They care about access to utilities. Hear me out. Listen, if you're brand new, hear me. Don't spin your wheels with lots with well and septic. Don't even spin your wheels with lots with water, no sewer, because it takes longer to close. You have to perk it. And a perk test is basically a percolation test. And it basically allows you to test the soil to see if it will be suitable for a septic system, which will take the sewer away from the house. So if you're brand new kind of stick to lots that has access to water and sewer. They're going to go fast off the shelf. And they're very, very easy to move, opposed to just spinning your wheels, getting lots with no access to utilities. It's just a waste of time. I couldn't tell you how many people send me deals every day. And I said, does it got utilities? They say no. I says, run! Like, run, people! Like I don't specialize in that. I do now do a lot of lots with water, no sewer, but I have a partner who's a developer who very good with perking lots, and he's good with all that. So I don't handle no part of that. So, but unless you got a partner like I got who knows how to basically go to the lot with a backhoe operator and dig what you call test pits. And basically the test pits, they go down about 6 feet. And what they want to do is they want to grab the soil, make sure it's a red clay soil, and they put water in their hand with the soil and make sure the water absorbs the dirt. And basically that they saying that that's a surefire way to see if the soil will hold a septic system. So again, I've seen it done. I don't care to do it. I actually don't like getting dirty. But
So you sell dirt. Yeah.
Yeah. So unless you got a partner, ladies and gentlemen, please leave the no sewer alone. Just stick with water and sewer. A couple more questions, Parker. Let me ask you, what has been some challenges for you? If you can think of one or two challenges, you get a deal in the contract and you assign the deal, and then this happens.
So right now I have a couple I'm kind of dealing with. The one thing that really sticks out is like a power line that's going across, like what do we call it when there's a power line, there's something that's in the way that is
right
basically
away, like a Duke Energy
yes,
right away, or easement, or
an easement, basically. Yep. Something that you don't really pay a lot of attention to at first, and you're like, okay, yeah, everything looks good, and then you talk to somebody else and they're like, oh bro, that's got like this thing, and you're like, shit. Okay, all right. So I've got like a list of things that's happened to me several times, like now I look for power lines, and now I look to make sure that they have water and sewer because I've run into that before. It's just due diligence for land has caught me a couple times, and I've got to make sure that I'm on top of that for sure. And then clear title, whether it's, I come from a world that is none of this. So when I hear things like quiet title or estate or probate or any of this stuff, it's like, what is that? So again, luckily with, I think, my skill set and my personality, the initial conversations aren't bad on either side, seller, buyer, any of it. But once it gets to the real technical stuff, or the real, like the attorney jargon, or any of that stuff, I'm just like, what? Yeah. So that's an issue for me, is like getting it to the finish line via like attorney jargon and responses. So
nice. One thing, ladies and gentlemen, if I can mention, one thing me and Parker did, we had a lot of lots under contract before, and for whatever reason, we couldn't get them to the finish line. One in particular was West Main Street. Me and Parker had invested. We went half on what we call a quiet title. And basically what that means, ladies and gentlemen, is a property was purchased from an auction, and it didn't have what we call insurable title or title insurance. Okay. So basically, I think me and Parker paid maybe $2,300. We split it down. Was it 2,000 or 23?
I think it was 23. Yeah. 23.
We had a buyer, ladies. I had a buyer immediately. We had due diligence from the buyer. We had $1,000. And long story short, we had two lots on the same street. One of them, we took too long, and the seller sold it. I don't know. I think we was having issues with our attorney. I don't know what we was having issues with, but we took too long. Oh, it needed a quiet title as well. And we was like, okay, we need a quiet title. And the seller was like, nah, they just ghosted us. You know what I mean? And then we look it up. It was sold. Like somebody was able to do it. Maybe they bought it without title insurance. The second one, Parker is doing something very, very integrous and generous. So we we had this thing under contract for maybe 3 months, people, or more. We got
I think it was more, man. This might have been like the third thing I ever got under contract.
we
It was
got
a long time.
extension after extension after extension. And long story short, when we cleared the title, when we were ready to close, the buyer says, I'm good now. We're like, what? You waited 4 months? I mean, these people, Parker, am I lying? Did they wait a long time or what?
It was a long time. We were just talking, I mean, like the other day that we had their DD so long, we forgot about it.
We had their due diligence, which is basically, ladies and gentlemen, a non-refundable deposit. We had it so long, we forgot about it. And one thing I like about Parker is, being as though we couldn't sell the property, he kept it 100 with the seller and says, hey man, this joint is some garbage. We can't move it. But Parker is paying for the title insurance so that the $2,300 we spent won't go to waste, and he'll have clear marketable title. So if he was to find someone in the future that wanted to buy it, he wouldn't have to go through quiet title again. And I definitely, how much did that cost you, Parker, to do that? A couple $100?
I actually sent the check away today. It's $310.
So $310, ladies and gentlemen. We was able to pay it forward. Actually, $2,300 plus $310. That's like, but again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, this is a great success story. We were able to make some chingy together, but we have had our fair share of deals that didn't work out too good. And it just comes with the game. You have to be tough. You can't quit. If Parker would have quit on a first deal, I mean, he wouldn't have had this deal he has now. So the moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you take away with this some nuggets. Don't quit. I beg of thee, don't quit. I love your approach. All you're doing is freaking downloading the app, driving the neighborhood, and they're sending postcards and the people calling you. I might try that myself. I'll be honest. But you say you get a good response rate. So I'm like, man, I'm going to go to a town where it's not really popping and see what I can do, man. But Parker, I want to thank you, man, for spending time with us, man. Thank you for your humor. I'm sure some people got some good laughs, some acting skills. I saw a little bit come out. And man, it has been a blast interviewing you, man. So do you got any closing words for a newbie, for someone who's skeptical, for someone who's basically tried to wholesale houses and maybe it didn't work out for them?
Yeah, so I think the big thing is to be to fail forward, kind of like we've been talking about. Take action. You're gonna fail. I'm still failing a lot, but I'm trying to fail forward. So meaning, if I'm making mistakes, I'm learning from them. If I'm making mistakes, at least I'm surrounding myself with people who have either gone through that before or know what the situation is, so I can kind of lean on them. Also, I got stuck big time in analysis paralysis when I first started. I watched YouTube videos until 3 a.m. and then did nothing with it. So it's tough. I mean, I come from a background where, acting is like auditioning. I'm constantly auditioning. I'm not booking as many jobs as you would like, but that's kind of the process. That's what it is. You're moving on to the next thing. You're not thinking about it. So that's kind of the same thing in real estate. Like if a deal doesn't work out, move to the next one. Have as many in the pipeline as you can at one time, because you can jump around, you can come back to this one, you can move to that one, you can do some marketing, because you can be in a slump and then you get that one phone call where it could be a big phone call. You never know. So just keep plugging away, even if it's not in real estate. Whatever it is you're doing, just keep doing it.
Wow. Thank you, Parker, for those closing words, man. Hopefully people took heed to this. Again, Parker is definitely adding a lot of value to me. He sends me a lot of opportunities, and some of them are good, some of them are okay. And we just take we just take the good ones and we make it do what it do. So listen, if you want a JV partner with your boy, link is in the description. Hunting criteria, deal submission in the description. You can check me out. I'm open to JV in my markets. I'm not JV in nowhere else. I'm not Georgia, Texas. I'm not North Carolina. Holla at your boy. I do a little bit in South Carolina, Lancaster. But yeah, let's get it done. So I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the community. Thank you for watching this interview. We salute you. Again, if you need anything, my email is in the description. Damien at creativelandsolutions.com. All right, peace.